I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will.
Sarah McBride's name is synonymous with historic firsts. As the first openly transgender state senator in the country, and now the first transgender member of Congress, she has broken barriers in American politics. But with those achievements have come significant challenges. In a heated congressional hearing, McBride found herself at the center of controversy when Republican Representative Keith Self misgendered her, not once but twice, sparking an immediate and forceful response from Democratic Representative Bill Keating. Let's take a deeper look at what happened, as well as the political and personal stakes at play. House hearing erupts over misgendering incident.
The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Tensions flared on Capitol Hill when Representative Keith Self, chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee's Erupts subcommittee, repeatedly misgendered Representative Sarah McBride, setting off a fierce response from his Democratic colleagues. The hearing, meant to discuss arms control and international security, quickly derailed when Self introduced McBride as Mr. McBride. Though McBride carried on with her remarks, Representative Bill Keating intervened, demanding Self repeat his introduction. When Self doubled down and again called McBride Mr. McBride, Keating erupted. "You are out of order," he declared. "Mr. Chairman, have you no decency?" The tense exchange ended when Keating refused to allow the hearing to continue unless McBride was addressed correctly. Self, unwilling to back down, abruptly adjourned the meeting. The moment became a flashpoint in the ongoing culture war over gender identity, with Self later justifying his actions by citing an executive order from President Trump stating the U.S. government recognizes only two sexes, male and female. The explanation, however, did little to quiet the backlash, as Democratic lawmakers and LGBTQ+ advocacy groups condemned Self's actions as a deliberate act of disrespect towards McBride. McBride's response and GOP reactions.
I didn't run to make history or to make headlines. I ran to make a difference in my community. And I know that the best way to honor the LGBTQ community is to fulfill my responsibilities as a state senator to the residents of the 1st Senate District, to do the best job that I can for the residents of this district.
Following the hearing's abrupt end, McBride took to social media to address the situation, focusing not on the attack, but on her broader mission as a lawmaker. Quote, "No matter how I'm treated by some colleagues, nothing diminishes my awe and gratitude at getting to represent Delaware in Congress," she wrote. "It is truly the honor and privilege of a lifetime. I simply want to serve and try to make this world a better place." Her response, measured and focused on her role in governance rather than personal insult, stood in stark contrast to statements from some Republican lawmakers who backed Self. Representative Mary Miller had previously misgendered McBride during a House floor speech, referring to her as the gentleman from Delaware. Miller later defended Self's remarks on social media, writing, quote, "Enough with the lies. As God ordained and President Trump declared, there are only two genders, male and female." Representative Nancy Mace went further, calling McBride's identity a lie and a mental illness. Her post sparked a wave of criticism, with LGBTQ+ advocacy groups pointing to the harmful rhetoric and its potential to encourage discrimination. The Republican Party's stance on gender identity issues has been a growing point of contention in recent years, particularly as GOP-led state legislatures have pushed laws restricting transgender rights in schools, healthcare, and sports. Ongoing GOP opposition to McBride.
I would like my grace to contrast with the grandstanding that we're seeing right now. I would like my approach of respecting everyone to contrast with the disrespect that we are seeing right now. I'd like people to see my competence in governing contrast with their chaos.
McBride has faced opposition from Republican lawmakers since winning her seat in 2024. Shortly after her election, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson implemented a policy banning transgender people from using restrooms that correspond with their gender identity in certain parts of the Capitol. The policy appeared to be a direct challenge to McBride's presence, though she remained focused on her legislative goals. Quote, "I'm not here to fight about bathrooms," McBride said at the time. "I'm here to fight for Delawareans and to bring down costs facing families." Despite her emphasis on policy, GOP members have continued to target her identity. The repeated misgendering incidents highlight a refusal by certain Republican lawmakers to acknowledge her gender identity, a stance that mirrors broader efforts by conservative figures to limit transgender rights. The House hearing was just the latest example of this political battle playing out in real time. Historical context of misgendering in politics.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
McBride is not the first transgender public figure to face misgendering and outright hostility in government spaces. Over the years, misgendering has been used as a political tactic to delegitimize transgender individuals holding public office. Danica Roem, the first openly transgender state legislator in the U.S., faced similar attacks when she was elected to the Virginia House of Delegates in 2017. The refusal to acknowledge transgender officials' identities has long been a tool used to challenge their legitimacy. Beyond politics, the misgendering of transgender people has been a pervasive issue in workplaces, media, and public life. Studies show that intentional misgendering can lead to increased levels of distress, depression, and anxiety among transgender people. In legal battles over gender identity, courts have weighed in on whether misgendering constitutes harassment, with some rulings determining that repeated, deliberate misgendering can contribute to a hostile work environment. The Republican strategy.
It's clear that each and every one of us, as men and women, have exceptional gifts and differences. They should be celebrated. But those differences are very real, and the physical differences are very real.
McBride's treatment in Congress is reflective of a broader conservative strategy regarding transgender rights. Many Republican lawmakers have chosen to make transgender identity a key political talking point, often framing it as a cultural issue rather than a civil rights matter. This strategy has been evident in policies at both the state and federal levels. Legislative efforts such as bans on transgender women in sports, restrictions on gender-affirming healthcare, and policies limiting discussions on gender identity in schools have become central to the Republican platform. By targeting high-profile transgender figures like McBride, GOP lawmakers reinforce their stance to their voter base, capitalizing on the divisiveness of the issue. The strategy is not new. During the first Trump administration, multiple policies sought to restrict transgender rights, including the ban on transgender individuals serving in the military and the rollback of the Obama-era protections for transgender students. McBride's presence in Congress has reignited these battles, with Republican lawmakers using her as a focal point in their opposition to transgender rights. The future of transgender representation in government.
And our community is resilient and will make it through these 4 years regardless.
Despite the hostility McBride has faced, her presence in Congress represents a significant step forward for transgender political representation. The visibility of transgender lawmakers in government sends a powerful message to younger generations, showing that representation is possible despite systemic barriers. McBride has made it clear she intends to focus on governance rather than engaging in personal battles over identity. But given the current political climate, it's likely that challenges to her legitimacy will persist. The role of media in political misgendering.
Transgenderism is this country's fastest-growing religion. Like many faiths, its theology features a supernatural transfiguration, the moment a person is transmogrified from one sex to another. Converts to this faith abandon their old lives and embrace an entirely new sex. Former identities no longer exist, they're dead names.
The controversy surrounding Sarah McBride's treatment in Congress is not just a matter of political discourse. It also highlights the role of media in amplifying or challenging misgendering in politics. Coverage of transgender public figures varies significantly across news outlets, with conservative media often adopting rhetoric that reinforces biological essentialist views, while progressive or mainstream outlets adhere to journalistic guidelines that respect individuals' gender identities. Fox News, for instance, has played a significant role in shaping right-wing narratives about transgender politicians, frequently misgendering or emphasizing the birth-assigned sex of figures like McBride. Right-leaning commentators have often framed the discussion of transgender politicians around broader concerns about, quote, woke culture and political correctness, rather than policies or qualifications. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think this incident says about our current state of American politics? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.